What is up? It's your boy, Bozeman, Montana. Hope you guys are doing okay. I don't know about you guys, but I am an avid wrestling fan. Been a fan of wrestling since I was about 9 years old. That's probably too long of a time to be keeping up with this kind of stuff. But hey, especially nowadays, there's really nothing for me better to do than to watch wrestling. I mean, SmackDown is currently on as I record this video. So let's just get right into it. So WWE has a show coming up this Sunday. It's called Hell in a Cell. One of my personal all-time favorite matches. It's made for some great moments where we had from Mankind getting thrown off of the cell to the end of an era match with Undertaker and Triple H, which I think is one of the best matches ever. That's just my opinion though. And then we got last year, which I believe the show itself was great, but the main event made it a train wreck, where we had Seth Rollins and The Fiend, and the match ended in a, not even a DQ, but just a no contest. Like, we're not even gonna get into it. I saw it. You all saw it. You all know what happened. That match took everyone. It took babyface Seth Rollins off of everyone's radar. It made him completely undesirable, and the Monday Night Messiah was born a few months later. We all know what happened. So this year, I looked on the page for the card, and it's not that stacked. I mean, there's probably gonna be more matches announced when the show progresses, but the 4 matches I saw, one of them I really don't care about. So I'm gonna give you how I feel about each match, how much I'm looking forward to it, and who I think is going to win and why. And I'm gonna give you these matches in order of the ones I least care about, being at like the first one I list is the one I least care about. The last one's gonna be the one that I care about the most. So here goes. Off the jump, Jeff Hardy and Elias. I don't care about this match. I know for a fact Elias is going to win. He just came back after who knows how long. Jeff Hardy just got put on Raw, which I don't think does anything for him. Yeah, Elias takes the dub. Next, that was quick, right? Next match, we have, and these next few matches are all going to be inside of the cell. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. This one is hard for me. It kind of is. It still is. A few months ago, when SummerSlam came around, or a couple months ago, I said that when they faced each other, that match could have gone either way. And even in this situation, it still can. Randy could have won the match, and it would have been icing on the cake for the great year that he's had. From the minute he RKO'd Edge, they brought back the Legend Killer gimmick, and it's not better than what it was before, but it's just good to see the gimmick again. And the stories were great. He took out Edge, Christian, Big Show, Ric Flair, then they all came back to jump him and cost him the match at Clash of Champions. The story's been great. Randy Orton is timeless, great in the ring. Randy Orton is just one of the greats. He's just that good. So he could have won the match and it would have made sense. Drew McIntyre, on the other hand, who's had a great WWE Championship reign. I think it's funny how 10 years ago, Drew McIntyre was the least desirable superstar to be in the WWE, let alone be champion. 10 years later, it's something we needed. I even said at last year's Royal Rumble when Seth Rollins won that if not Drew that year, Drew next year. I believe, in my personal opinion, establishes him as one of the greatest champions in modern history. Not ever, because he'll have to be champion for longer than that, but for like the last, few years, like when I say feel like 5 years since 2015, he's up there as one of the greatest champions so far. And the thing is, he's beaten Randy Orton twice, clean already. This story with Drew and Randy has been dragged out a little too long, just a little bit. I'm under the impression that Randy Orton is gonna win because they wouldn't put him up against Drew so many times just to keep having him lose. They did the same thing last year with Kofi Kingston. Kofi's reign wasn't that great, but I just don't see that. I just don't see them doing that to him. So, I do think the match is going to be good. My prediction, I have a feeling that I know Drew's going to win, but I kind of want Randy. Does Randy Orton need to be champion by any means? No. Would I like to see Randy Orton as champion again? Yes. Randy's just that good. So, my prediction, Randy Orton. I believe we have a new WWE champion, Randy Orton. That's just my prediction. Next match, Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I cannot begin to tell you how long I've waited to see them go at each other. I've been waiting for it for a long time. Ever since the Bayley Dose straps, look, here's the thing. The storyline with the Bayley Dose straps and the golden role models and everything, it wasn't a bad storyline. People are even going on the internet saying that Bayley and Sasha carried the Performance Center era, that they carried the pandemic era. I agree to a certain extent. The storyline itself wasn't bad. I just don't like it. I just wasn't messing with it. I was kind of irritated when they had Sasha beat Asuka for the women's title didn't even really beat her. She just lost by countout. So yeah, I was waiting for, you know, Sasha to turn on Bayley, and then they finally face each other for the title at SummerSlam. They were initially going to do it at SummerSlam, but they changed it because SummerSlam was initially supposed to be in Boston, which is Sasha's hometown apparently, so that she could give some kind of hometown ovation and it would make for better storytelling, which I understand. I still think the match should have happened sooner, but whatever. So Sasha ends up losing at SummerSlam. They lost the tag titles to Payback. And then Bayley was the one that turned on Sasha. I wanted Sasha to turn on Bayley more, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it did make more sense because Bayley's the actual heel. You know what I'm saying? She's the actual heel. And I think, you know, she's better off for it. The story. There were some unnecessary segments within the story, like the SmackDown Women's title match that they had a couple weeks ago where Bayley got herself disqualified. That didn't need to happen because we knew where it was going to go. We knew where it was going to go. And then they had the contract signing last week where Bayley didn't sign. Maybe she'll sign tonight, but who knows? I don't know. It's just a little unnecessary. As far as the match itself goes, these two are going to tear each other apart, and I want to see all of it. Your winner and new SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. Bayley's been SmackDown Women's Champion for literally over a year. Like, she's been champion for over a year. It's time to give the title up, and who better to give it, and who better to lose the title to than your once best friend, who is now your sworn enemy. Sasha Banks, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of this generation. There would be no better way to end this story than with Sasha. It wouldn't make sense to have Bayley win. It wouldn't. It wouldn't make any sense. It would make me mad, which would probably be the good thing because Bayley's a heel. But it does not make any sense to have this story go on as much as it has, only to have Sasha lose to Bayley at Hell in a Cell. Your winner, new SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks. There it is. And it would match her blue hair. All full circle. Roman Reigns versus Jay Uso for the Universal Championship. And for the first time ever, this is going to be a Cell match, but it's going to be an I Quit match. Let's just get this out the way right now. Roman Reigns as a heel, ever since his return at SummerSlam, has been golden. Has been absolutely golden. It's just been great. Came back at SummerSlam, beat the crap out of The Fiend, and Strowman was talking so much stuff. Neither you were here without me. You can't handle the responsibility. Just, it was so good. And then on top of that, the following Friday, the dude became a Paul Heyman guy. Least expected that to happen. Least expected it, but I loved it. Loved every minute of it. So then from that point, we knew who was winning at Payback. Boom, Roman Reigns. And the way he won it was great. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was fun to see it. Let Fiend and Strowman take care of each other, the ring implodes, and then boom, signs the contract, wreck everyone and leave, new Universal Champion. Boom. Clash of Champions comes around, faces his own cousin Jay Uso. In my personal opinion, Jay Uso, I don't know about Jimmy because we haven't seen him in the ring as much because he's been injured, but for sure Jay Uso is a future world champion, or in my opinion should be. At Clash of Champions, that match was, in my personal opinion, aside from the Intercontinental title ladder match, what else was there? And the ambulance match, maybe it was alright. But besides that, this match was match of the night. Just for storytelling alone. The match itself was good. I'm glad it wasn't one-sided. It could have been and I wouldn't have been mad, but I'm glad that it was back and forth. And the ending was good because it proves that Jay Uso can go the distance. You know, he technically didn't lose. He did, but he didn't. He didn't get pinned. He didn't tap out. Jimmy just threw on the towel. So that match was great. I didn't think it was supposed to, hold up. This story's been great. Roman Reigns looked like a beast. I personally believe that the Roman Reigns we have now is the Roman Reigns that should have beat Triple H at WrestleMania 32. Should have beat The Undertaker if they were going to have him beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. They should have beat John Cena at No Mercy 2017. Maybe he should have beaten Brock Lesnar. I think it goes without saying the winner's going to be Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell, but I will say that it's going to be hard to watch. And when I say hard to watch, I feel like what's going to happen in that match is going to make me feel bad for Jay Uso. Because I already felt bad for him at Clash of Champions when he was getting whooped and his brother was out there. Even Paul Heyman was, like, that's how you know Roman Reigns is doing a good job as a heel. If the person who's working for him, Paul Heyman, feels bad. If you listen closely, you watch the match back when Roman pulls Jay away from Jimmy to beat him up for the last time. Paul's like, oh God. The dude felt bad. Paul Heyman might be a menace at some points, but the dude has a soul. Like, that was perfect. Winner and still Universal Champion, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And the reign is only going to get better from here. Kind of predictions. Elias beats Jeff Hardy. Randy Orton wins the WWE Championship. Sasha Banks wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. Roman Reigns makes Jay Uso say I quit.